Okay, and we're back. Alright, so what was I saying? Fuck. It's alright.
The idea, I want to do it my way though. No, he's like, no, you're gonna do what I said to do. You're gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna be embarrassed. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna go through pain. You're gonna go through suffering. You're going through despair. You're gonna go through happiness, ecstasy, tears of joys, tears of pain. You name it, all of it, the full spectrum of emotion. Fucking cosmic motherfucking theatrics, nigga. So get ready, and you still gotta do what I told you to do. What I tell you to do. You doing that? All right, then I'm about to flip all this shit over, and he gonna keep doing it until I do it. So it's just like that's my problem. I don't. I hear him. I heard him. I've been hearing him, but it's like no. Uh, I want to do it my way. I want to take it easy and avoid the pain and shit like that. God don't give a fuck. God don't give a fuck.
And this is part of what I was saying, like, if you don't do what God told you to do, flip all this shit over. Meaning like you think you about to have a relationship. But as soon as you start putting more into your relationship than you do your relationship with God, then he gonna take it from you. He like, no, I never said leave me out of the equation. You need me for everything. So why would you get so um, you know what I mean, wrapped up in your love shit that you got going on, right? I can't find a word right now. I don't know why. I'll be sometimes I can articulate, but then some other times I'll be like drawing blanks. But yeah, so you getting so caught up in your feelings for this woman or for a girl, for that man, and you're like, and then God's looking at you like, oh, so you think you forgetting about me? And then knock all this shit over. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Oh, this job? You think you're not gonna tend to yourself? You're not gonna enjoy life? You're not gonna, do what I told you? Knock all this shit over. And it's just gonna be like that with everything until you do exactly what he told you to do, because it don't matter how you feel or what's going on. God don't give a fuck about none of that. Did you do what he told you to do? So if you were supposed to be a musician, right? You don't care if you gotta be homeless, nigga. Get your ass on that corner and play that saxophone like I told you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, a starving artist or a fucking successful artist, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is, you know. But that's the reason why you have to put the inner work over everything, you know. That connection with God is what shows you how to not be a starving artist. What shows you how to not to rely. I mean, of course, you're gonna probably go through it at first because he's like, yeah, I gotta build you up, you know. But it's not like you're gonna be just down bad forever. It's just like he's just doing that to build your character. Adversity builds character, right? So yeah, it's more so of that. But that's what I mean by like God will knock all of this shit over. You get too caught up in your feelings for anything. You get financially secure. You think that job gonna hold you down. God's like, nope. Well, here come AI to take your motherfucking job since you turned into that job. You over there trying to go to work, come home, binge watch your favorite Netflix shows, and then I don't know, fuck on your girl, and then go to sleep and then do it all over again. Think you about to. No, if God called you to something more, he gonna take all that shit. Your car, your girl, your job. It doesn't matter because you ain't do what he told you to do. So, and I know. Trust me, I know. So what I'm saying is like, I had to come to terms with that. No matter what it is, if you don't do what he told you to do, he gonna take all this shit. He will fuck all this shit up. And it don't matter how you feel about it. He feels, that's like, I always use the analogy of, it's like being like a parent and your kid walks in from school or something, and he just walks past you. He don't say hi, he don't speak, he don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, the fuck? And I feel like God's like, no, We about to do something about that. Because when he's like watching you, yo, you need me to do to help you get enough money to buy you and your wife's engagement ring, right? And you're like, oh God, please guide me to this decision or whatever. But then as soon as it comes time for you to just be chilling with God, solitude out in nature or wherever you do it at, in your craft or on the yoga mat, whatever, right? Whenever you're supposed to be, present with yourself, your higher self, God, then you want to be like, oh no, I'll do it later. But you want him to have that. You think he? Never mind. Yeah, God's definitely not going for none of that. So, yeah, big on the make sure you put God first. So it's deeper than surface level. It'll be long lasting. It'll be long term. Standing the test of time. So that way, you never have to restart because you understood the assignment. You understood what God was telling you and you acted on that. So the person you're with should be advocating for you to move closer to God, whatever that is. The job you're with should be advocating for you to get closer to yourself, which is God. What else did I say? Job, relationship, anything. Family. Everything should be advocating for you to move closer to God. And if it's not, one, he's going to take it from you, and two, you're probably going to suffer for it. So we'll get back to this.
About your sensitivities and shit like that. I don't give two fucks about that shit, nigga. You better go at it, take the brunt of the blow like a motherfucking champ on the chin, cause he don't fuck with none of that soft shit. Like, the shit that you run away from, he looking at you like, you little bitch ass nigga. When I tell you, this theatrics, nigga. I need to see you suffer, so then when I see you come up, I'll cry tears of joy because I went through that pain with you. You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm not just watching, I'm living it with you, in you. You know what I'm saying? So, if I can take it, you can, because I made you. And that's just how he looks at it. He's looking at it from the broader perspective. So he's not looking at it from our minuscule fucking skewed fucking perception. So he don't give a fuck about none of that. He's like, what did I tell you? And I only say he, so, I'm speaking the language for people to understand. It's like speaking Bible terms for Christians, or speaking parables or whatever for, Buddhists, you know what I'm saying, and other religions that use parables, right? So it's just like, or using scripture, should I say. So it's to speak the language so you understand who I'm talking about, what I'm talking about. Not necessarily because I don't know that God is not, he don't have a gender. But we don't need to keep saying that. We know. But, yeah, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, God don't give a fuck about none of that. And that's the reason why nothing works out for me, because I keep running away from it. I'm running away from the pain. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. The type of shit that comes with my mission, oh yeah, nigga running from that. Nigga running for the hills from that. Nigga what? Like, no. I see what you trying to put me through. And that shit ain't funny. But remind you, God is the best of the best. So he's the greatest comedian, the greatest poet, the greatest, you know what I'm saying? He can pull all those emotions out of you. He's just the same way you're doing it for him. Because he creates your life, you live your life. So when you cry, he's crying. You laughing, he laughing. You know what I'm saying? But that's why he's doing it. Because he wants to laugh. He wants to cry. He wants to... You're in the midst of it like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't even ask to be born. But God don't give a fuck about none of that. Because, nigga, you signed up for this. You just forgot. And I made sure you forgot. Because if you seen all the shit you had to do, you probably would have ran. And I told you, no, you can't run. Because I got something else for your ass if you think about running.
No, we definitely knew what we were signing up for before we was born. We asked for it. We picked our parents. We picked our lives. We seen it all the way through. As they say, God finishes, then he starts. We seen everything that was a possibility, everything that was going to happen. And we were like, yes, I, bowing before the Supreme, the Absolute, being like, yeah, I would be honored to take this, this mission, or to experience, because it's for you too, because that's why it's called the present moment is called a present. It's a gift that you open, to experience life is a beautiful thing. So it's just like that. So I'm not only honored to experience God's creation, His magnificence is the words can't describe how, you know what I mean. Uh, yeah, how beautiful life is and how honored we should be to live it, right? But not only that, we're assigned missions to fight with the lower forces or the other aspects of God, because it's all God. So us as the righteous people, we knew this would be war before we were born. So the fact that we forgot is the only thing we're tripping about. It's not necessarily the assignment, because we knew this before we got here, but we just forgot. So that's the only part that conflicts us, is because once you remember, then you're like, oh shit. Well, if I asked for this, you know, if I'd have knew this earlier, I would have made different decisions. But it ain't about that. That was part of the contract. That was part of the assignment, was for you to forget everything from your past life, for you to forget all of this shit we talked about before I sent you back to Earth. Or, if this your first time here, I don't know. It's definitely not mine. So before I send you back, just know that you're going to forget all of this. Our conversation. Hey, it's kind of like the animes that be like where they got to talk to the goddesses or whatever before they get reborn in another world. It's funny. So like they be like trying to give them powers. They got to ask for certain things, or they anime funny. They that's another story. But anyway, so we already knew. So we really ain't mad at a higher self level, like on a core level, because we knew. But on the surface level, the conscious mind, because we're not tapped all the way in to where we can see our past lives and shit like the Buddha, then we like this is fucked up. And it's not, because one, you ask for it, and two, it's a package deal, because that's to completely disregard all the beautiful and amazing times you had, and all the amazing times you're going to have, and all the fucked up shit you're going to go through. It's a package deal. You can't be mad. But, you definitely knew what you were getting into, and you told God you were honored to do it. One, it's for you, and two, it's for Him. So,
And I'm pretty sure you don't want that either. You probably don't want that even more than you running straight towards it. But so that's my problem. I can't speak for everybody else, but I definitely knew what I was supposed to be doing. I just didn't. I can say every excuse I have, which might be valid, but God, like I said, once again, don't give a fuck about none of that, nigga. Not even a little. So hopefully that helps somebody that needs to hear that, because none of that.
Well, I was saying by I hope it helps, it means like, sometimes you gotta get that tough love. Sometimes you gotta hear that blunt, he said what he said, and you better get on that. You know what I mean? Like, if God told you to do something, there ain't none of us on earth, nobody in hell can save you or do it for you. So you better get on top of that, for you gotta go answer to Him, or for He get to put in His hand in your life, which I've had that happen many times throughout my whole life. So I already know. That's why I'm trying to give you the heads up before you gotta go through that. So it's just like, what you would get out of that is do what He told you to do. I don't care what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. If the minute you try to run from it, it's going to be 10 times worse. God tell you to do something, you do it. I don't care. don't matter how we feel. That's the point I'm getting at.
Nope. No, he don't. Nope. You can tell your girl, you can tell your family, you can tell your friends. Yeah, God don't give a fuck about none of that. Your therapist, nope. He like, what the fuck did I tell you to do? Is that what I told you to do? Are you complaining now? Oh, okay. Well, we got something for that too. He'll still help you out. He whoop your ass at the same time. I know there's plenty of times where, like even with this job I have now, where it's like, I almost died so many times. And that's besides the times I almost died before I started driving as a job. In the middle of me thinking, God has just punished me, God ain't real, thinking all these negative thoughts, being pessimistic and shit, then I almost crash to where I almost die, or be in a situation where I literally almost die, and he'd be like, well, you ain't did what I told you to do, so no, I'm gonna save you right now, but just understand, I can take you out anytime I want it. I just want you to do what I told you to do, or else I ain't gonna be fulfilled, and you ain't either. Because if I didn't feel like I needed you, I wouldn't have made you in the first place. But think about it. It's cosmic theatrics because what happens at the end of the movie? You put on another motherfucking movie. So that's your next life. What happened when you died in your last life? That's this life. It's the next movie. Cosmic motherfucking theatrics. So the whole time you worried about dying or you worried about this and that, all that shit don't matter. None of this shit matters. It only matters because we make it matter. You give your life purpose. God wants to see, because he already knows you're going to do. And he going to keep nudging you to where he wants you to go, that he knows you want to do. So ultimately, it's for him, which is you, which is him. Getting kind of weird, but not weird, but getting kind of confusing. Not on my end, I understand it, but I don't know, maybe for other people, but that's the way it is. Like, he wants you to, because he's living through you, because he is you, so he wants you to find everything you want, and he also wants you to go through everything you don't want, everything you fear and shit like that, because that's part of the play, that's part of the movie. You want to be able to turn on this movie, which is your life, and be like, damn, that shit touched my soul. But I love that movie. You ever have a movie you love so much? Yeah, it's like that. That's how he want to be at the end. Fucking standing ovation. Tears down his face. Standing up, clapping when it's the end for you. Like, yeah, that was a good one. But yeah. And it's not even that he don't care what you're going through, because he's going through it. He just looking at it from a broader perspective, which is non-physical. So the shit that matters to you, as far as pain, suffering, and not signing up for this, so you thought, all of that shit don't matter to him. I mean, it does and it don't. Like, it does to him through his physical aspect, which is you, and also he does it through his non-physical aspect, which is also you. So how do you explain to something that why should I be going through this when it doesn't have a physical vessel to empathize with you? Like, he feels it, but he's just like, yeah, but this is you ultimately. What he is. He's like, I'm you, so you shouldn't really be tripping. If I said do this, then you gonna do it, because this is my movie, which is your movie, which you are me and I'm you. So what exactly are you complaining for? We want this, you know what I mean? It's like you at the end of your journey, or you at the end, your perfected state, your avatar state. Ha ha ha. But yeah, you at the end of your soul's journey, which never ends. It's infinite. But that's another story. The complete you, which will never be complete because this is fire over here. Excuse me. Yeah, your complete self is God. It's looking at you like, I asked for this, you asked for this, so why are you complaining? Make it make sense. Because would you just have rather been nothing and just the void, just floating in nothingness, just there, just nothing, just bored? I mean, we don't get bored, but I'm sure if, like, all the good times you had, you gotta think about that. Like, I'm really living. I'm really here. I'm really doing this. This is really me. I'm making the fucking joys and sadness. That's crazy. No, it's not. It makes sense. Because I could be just sitting up there doing nothing. Which is pure bliss or whatever, but it's just like, but I want to feel the full spectrum. I want to feel the sun. I want to, you know what I mean? Feel everything that I am. You know what I mean? Or experience everything that I am within everything that I am, or everything in myself. Because remember, this is all happening inside you. So yeah, everything within myself. So it's like getting a first row seat to the movie or to the play. Or no, it's like being on stage. There we go. Yeah, it's like being on stage, where you fully immersed in the character, which you think is you, the individual aspect of God that, in my case, would be Laurent. So yeah, we asked for this, and I guess complaining would be a part of it, huh? So who am I to say that we shouldn't complain? Because even you're still God, even in your lower self. God is all things. It's just you have to get back to the part of balance where it's like, yeah, I complain, but I'm still going to do it because obviously we want this, and I want what you want what I want. He wants me to have what I want, and I want to be a service and do everything that he wants. So why would I not want what the Supreme wants? Like, he's spinning the planet. He made the whole universe, or universes, multiverse, whatever. So it's like, all that power, all that intelligence. You sure you don't want? You sure you think you, what's the word I'm looking for? Oppose that? Because obviously he knows what you want more than you, or at least without you act. Because you can't see it from his perspective because you're not functioning in super consciousness. So when you do that, even then, I feel like to fit God inside of you is impossible. That's why he had to, you know what I mean, branch out into many, cells, which is our self, which is the highest self. The highest self is the creator. It's like cells of skin or something, you know what I mean? And all the dimensions and all that. It's like all a culmination. So it's like, yeah, I want whatever that wants, or thy wants, the Supreme. But you better be careful when you say that, because you got some shit for your ass. That's one thing I found out the hard way. I'm like, oh shit, I ain't signed up for this. Yeah, you did. Yeah, definitely, everything comes with a price. And that's the price. So imagine if you never met the love of your life, or you didn't never know what it feels like to get your shit together, or to breathe, to experience nature, have a spiritual awakening, or whatever nostalgic, euphoric, ecstasy feelings that you felt. You came here for all of it. You couldn't have one without the other, so yeah. Yeah. And you do anything like me, whatever you do, don't run from you. Don't run from what he told you to do. When you run from you, you're running from what he told you to do. Because that's where you're going to find everything that he told you to do is in you. And you already know how that goes. The more I keep telling him, no, I want to do it this way, he's looking at me like, nigga, if you don't get your ass over here, yeah. Because this shit's not a game. That's why you cry out to the moon. You sing to God. Like our music is supposed to be, that's like mantras. They're supposed to be like mantras. They are mantras. Except that the powers that be just shifted from the righteous aspect of God to the wicked aspect of God. So that way we self-destruct and wipe ourselves off the planet. But that's not going to be as easy as it sounds. Because if you look around, there's still good people. There's still shit happening. They just don't get glorified. Because that's not what makes them money. That's not what keeps them in power. But whatever it is, they just doing what God told them to do. No harm, no foul. The whole point is so that way you can sculpt yourself into what the aspect of God that you are is supposed to look like and be and function. Like, make the best fucking movie possible, in a sense. But where do I go from here? I be having shit that I be wanting to say, and God don't really care how I feel as far as, oh, but I need to have my shit together. Oh, but this and that. What about this? I'm like, nigga, what did I tell you? I said it a million times. I'll say it again. I said what I said. Do it anyway. Don't give a fuck about nothing you going through, what circumstances you have. If he said do something, you gonna lose everything by trying to avoid it. You gonna fuck up everything. All your
Find out
relationships,
today.
all your businesses, your jobs, whatever. All the self-love you have for yourself. Because I came full circle to myself, and I don't got it. Well, I won't say I don't got it, but I don't know, forgot how to access it. I didn't forget. It's just like I got all this shit that I gotta work through. It's like I got through all that shit, came full circle, and then now I gotta redo that. Which is crazy, because it's like once you see something, you can't unsee it. But there's a difference between seeing it and being it. So no matter what the fuck spiritual awakenings or what type of shit I was able to do in the past, don't mean shit right now if I can't do it now. I mean, it does, because I know it's possible, rather than a person who don't know it's possible. But it also makes it worse, because once you know, God expects more from you. And then not only that, it's kind of like meditating. When you meditate and you looking for, like, say you meet God while you meditate, right? You're going to be looking for that same experience every time you meditate. And that's going to stop you from meditating. Or hinder it. That's why they say you don't imagine beings of light. You just be. And then it'll come to you. Yeah, straight like that. Because if you got something in your head or what you're supposed to see or whatever, you're going to miss the meditation. Because nothing that I experienced through doing the inner work or that I achieved or whatever, none of it I knew was going to happen. I wasn't looking for nothing. The only thing I was worried about was healing and getting closer, or I wasn't looking for nothing. I wasn't trying to do nothing.
Healing and getting closer to God.
I wasn't trying to achieve nothing. I was just sitting with myself until I felt right again.
No, don't say that.
And then I kept doing it. And then I kept...
It wasn't that simple. I died a couple times. Yeah, death and rebirth. And then, at some point, you just notice you healed. You're like, oh shit. So God is real, you know? I mean, I figured, but it's absolute now. Can't no motherfucker on this, in the existence, deter me from it, you know? But yeah, we'll get into that later.
Like, achieving new levels just by wanting to feel right again. Like, that's the simplified way I could put it, to feel right again. I'm trying to find a better way to say it. To let go of the pain. Because you, in your natural state, is you without it being muddled, the water being all muddled, mucky, by it not flowing. And so they say, what happens to water that doesn't flow? It's like the Avatar. You know, once he moved the leaves or whatever, then the water could flow, and then the spring started looking lively again, right? It's the same thing with your chakras and you. Once you get all that bullshit out the way, it's already there. It's just waiting for you to access it. I won't say realize it, because you got to do some work, but yeah, it's just waiting for you to access it. Which I feel like it'll be more challenging each time, because, like I was just saying, if you have something that you experience, you're going to keep looking for that experience every time you go back in. And that's what hinders you, because the first time you wasn't looking for nothing. Why would you do it this time? You can't help but do it, because you want that feeling again. You want that experience again. You want to feel like I'm picking up where I left off.
It's not the same game.
There's always more. That's why I said the light enters you through the womb, because when I was experiencing those things, It was like I was trying to heal through whatever was happening to me. I just wanted God to come in and take care of me and to at least, yeah, I wanted to heal. I wanted to like um, really be with God, just for Him to sit with me and be like, yeah, I hear you. I'm here. I see you. I want I want this to heal to, like acknowledge me and to really work with me on what I should do about what it was that I was going through. I wasn't worried about seeing ascended masters or angels or nothing like that. I was just, you know, suffering and trying to find whatever it was that can alleviate the pain or whatever will at least make me content with it and just be like, fuck it, it's what it is, but at least let me feel something that's not this. Because this ain't how my whole life is going to be, and this is just how it is, and that's forevermore. But in the process of that, sitting still, getting quiet, you lose yourself in the music. I'm gonna stop joking. You lose yourself within you that immersion into the nothingness, and then when that happens, then God's like, oh, okay, so you can hear me now because you ain't got all this bullshit in the way. And then while you're doing that, you're unconsciously moving stuff around, cleaning up your house, which is your temple, which is you, your body. And you going in there, you picking up trash, you organizing shit, you're making it beautified, putting plants up, lights up, and shit like that, making it inviting for the Creator to come sit in you. And then when He comes in, you feel it right away. You like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? That shit's dense, like, a good dense, like spiritual pressure, like a light heaviness, like when I say light, sunlight heaviness. It's like the sun came inside of you, but it don't burn. A gentle flame, as they say, holy fire. But right after you have shit like that happens, you lean too much towards that. You like, but you came before, but I'm special, or whatever you told me last time. That why else would you have showed me that? Why else would I experience that? Whoopie whoopie woo. And then you had entitlement. You had too much importance to yourself, and then God's looking at you like, here you go again. I told you. You know what the fuck I told you. Get the fuck out the way. You know what I'm saying? Just clean up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just get yourself right, and then we'll talk later.
I like that. Get the fuck out the way and clean up. Referring to the temple. So that means your job is always glory be to God. So it's not you. It's Him, but you're just what He, you know what I'm saying? You're okay. Okay, so you're the character in the game. He's the one that's playing the game. So when the character on the game wins, who does that actually count for? You know what I'm saying? Like, the person in the game is just experiencing life. Like, let's say it's GTA or motherfucking, some type of what kind of open realm, open world games. where he beat the game, and now, you know. But regardless, it's like saying that he he's like, uh, yeah, this is for me, which I'm you, but don't get it twisted. The glory goes to God, you know. So everything you do, everything you have, everything you are, is always going to be a testament to what He is and what He can do. So it's always going to be like, back up. What I told you to do was to do, the work to clean up the temple and, the work, and all that consists of. So, but we get in our head, we like, oh no, Jesus, the Buddha, or whatever, and he's like, get the fuck out the way, dog. I told you, stop. No, God runs all this shit. He's like, no, remove all of that shit. Realize that the only job I told you to do was clean up your temple, get in alignment, get all your dimensions or all the levels of yourself in alignment, and then go out and do the works. Have the word on your tongue, and do the works. Help people and stuff. Whatever I told you to do. But you over here wanting to praise shit that you might not even know what it is. You didn't meet Jesus in person, so how you know you actually praying to whatever this is, right? Or if it's of Him. You could say it's evident because of what they tell you out here in society. That's a whole other story. The point I'm getting at is it don't matter. Only thing, there's no middleman. The only thing you should be worried about is getting closer to God. I mean, the absolute. I mean, your source. Not nobody that was flesh. Not nobody that, no middlemans, no none of that, right? I mean, you could learn from them, yeah. They definitely could teach you, because you can learn something from everybody. You can learn shit from inanimate objects, But, yeah. You just got to get out your own way, which is getting out of God's way. Because once you learn to step back, you learn to step all the way back. And then God can work.
You gotta earn Him to come, sit in you. Because He's already sitting in you, but then He's like activated, or not activated, how do I say? Then He starts working through you. And you feel every single thing, like, then you just acknowledge the presence itself within you functioning, because now you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, because you stepped out of the way of, you got everything out the way that was blocking you from seeing it. That is better said, rather than Him coming down like from the heavens and then just sitting in your heart and in your mind's eye. No, it's already there, but then you start to move everything out the way by cleaning up the temple, and then you start to experience it. And then He's like, all right, well, let me up the ante, because obviously you get it now. So I can actually, use this vessel now. I can actually sit at home, which is in you. Because obviously we the same damn thing, but you motherfuckers forgot. So I gotta stay distant. Not saying I don't want to be here, but you niggas don't make it inviting. Because y'all nigga shit. And I know it's a programming. I know it wasn't your fault. But your fault or not, if you walk off a bridge and you fall and you break your legs, whose fault? The fault don't matter. Nigga, your legs. The whole point is to not walk off the bridge. So whatever the fuck you gotta do to, So that's the focus. Damn, whose fault? Fuck whose fault it is, or who did what. I get studying your enemy so you know how to maneuver them and shit like that, and you can stop potential threats and whatnot, future attempts on your life and whatnot. That makes sense, but balance is key. So it's knowing God got me. I can sleep. I don't have to worry about every little thing they do. I'm still supposed to study them, so I know what they can do, so I know what to shield myself from. But not to say have your guard up, but have it translucent, or you can activate it, the shield, or you can fortify it whenever you need to, but it stays like transparent or translucent to where shit can move through it. So when love comes from, because like once you activate, then everything will come to you that is supposed to come to you, because God is like, oh, well, I want this to come to you, I want that to come to you. You know what I'm saying? I want you to have this, or I want us to have this. Let me say that, because that's better. I want us to.
It's us to have this because he knows what you really want, even the stuff you don't know you want. He knows what you need and what you want. So once you get a clear signal, he's like, oh, okay, so you ready. All right. Then he start blessing you. What you do want and what you need.
Have this, I want us to have that. You know what I'm saying? I want to experience this because you deserve it. Because obviously, you hear me now.
You did the work.
Or you did the work. So let me give you this, let me give you that.
Came a long way, my boy.
But he can't do that if you don't clean your vibration up. You don't get in alignment. It's not gonna work. Everything you do is gonna fail. And even if it don't fail, it's not gonna be complete. It's not gonna be indifferent. No, it's not gonna fucking be long term. Shit's gonna flop someday. Because it's like you're not functioning with stable pillars. You have no ground to build off of. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. God don't play that. And God is always going to be like, which side is you going to choose? You going to choose the wicked aspect, or you going to choose the righteous aspect? If, like I said, if you're righteous and you choose wicked, you might not be able to come back from that. You might just have to stay in your lane. You went over there, you stay over there. But a wicked person, I feel like if they tried to do righteous shit, they would probably feel wrath too. They'll probably have some type of consequence because that's not what God created them to do. That's just my philosophy on it. Because it's like, it's the same thing with us as righteous people. We look.
No, because everybody was not so good at first. Before, I remember, what's it? A.K.A. the Savior. He said, in his, what was it, I want to say, it's one of his songs. He said, first you gotta get a taste of the evil seed. He said, first I had to get a taste of the evil seed so I can truly see what I was meant to be. That's to say, like, you had to be, I'd say it's, of course, it's programming, because if we were still in ancient civilizations, we wouldn't have to go through what we have to go through now to get the knowledge that, because we're at the the bare minimum of what we would have known as a adult. I mean, as a child back then. You know what I'm saying? Like our full-on adult self ain't even reaching that. You know, because they had ancient mystery schools and all type of shit. That's a whole nother story. So, but yeah, the point I'm getting at is you gotta be ignorant or unconscious before you wake up and then become aware. So it, but what I call, that's how it should have been if we were never, put through what we was put through. Because think about everything they were doing to us during in slavery. So it isn't that simple. Now it's brainwashing. Now it's spell work. Now it's, you know what I'm saying? It's all type of shit that we gotta heal and work through, and still that's active, and they're actually up in the ante on this very second. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So like, you gotta go through it before you come to, before you ascend. It's like how the Buddha had to be reborn many times before he became enlightened. Trust me, and in those times he was fucking up, or he was getting fucked up. So he understands, if anybody. So yeah, I think I heard Sadhguru say that the other day too. He was like, yeah, difference between I don't want to paraphrase. I don't want to mess up what he said, but I know he was saying like the Buddha still, he like, he's the middle path. We all know that, but I don't really know enough about Shiva. But the point he was getting at with Shiva is like the absolute. He's God. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, or that dimension. But the Buddha is like, he's not. He's like the balance between the two extremes. The middle path. He's like still partaking in drink and and stuff like that. I'll have to find that video and show y'all. But yeah, he was saying pretty much like, no, Shiva don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that, oh, the Shiva is better because he don't drink. I mean, in a way he is, but it's just saying like he's like the absolute. So but I'm still learning about that stuff over there. Like, I know more about the Buddha than I do about Shiva, so I can't really speak on it. But excuse me, I definitely know the Buddha though. Yeah, he not he not perfect. He never claimed to be. I mean, he's they say he's a perfect being, but at the same time, I believe when Sadhguru says that's what differentiates him from Shiva is the fact that that was his thing, was the middle path. So he's still like he's finding he found the balance between the two extremes. So it's not too spiritual and not too materialistic or involved in the transitory. And then at the same time, it would be like he's not too disciplined and not too reckless, or what's the word I'm looking for? Careless or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, so he's all about the middle path. So he's like, I'm just like you, you know what I'm saying? And just like Jesus said, the works I can do, you can do too. The Buddha there was so many Buddhas. You know how many fucking Buddhas there was? So it's like everybody has a Buddha. Everybody has Buddha nature. So it's just like to activate yourself. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's like become enlightened. We're all enlightened, but we just forgot. We just in amnesia right now. So it's just like, yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah. So it's just like you have to be like, that's what I was getting at. The Buddha went through so much before he became enlightened. You know how many times he was reborn? So it's just like that's what I was getting at. Like all of this is like a refining. Like from slavery, from Atlantis sinking to everything from everything. You know what I'm saying? The constant Jacob ladder, evolving, devolving, whatever, right? Or yeah. So everything plays a part into this refining, and I would say it's more like phi is the golden ratio, right? Yeah, phi is the one that's um, always up and under, always reaching towards perfection, but never actually getting there. Uh, but Shiva or the Supreme is the Fibonacci, you know, perfection, you know. So right on the dot, you know, yeah, infinitely, like fractals, God's thumbprint, infinitesimally small, infinitely big. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, infinite. Yeah, infinite. All right, but yeah, let's finish this. Ah, shit, another hour. All right, damn it. I'm probably gonna have to make another video because this shit is long.
At it like, damn. Well, I could have, did all that bad shit, right? I could have took that route, but I didn't, because I heard God. And it's like, every time I do something, the fact...
Okay. So, the light enters you through the womb. So, that's to say, either you got fucked up or you fucked up. Or both. And now, because of your suffering, like Sadhguru says, it's like God wants to peel your skin back. Imagine if you had no skin. You would feel everything intensely. So, that's to say, God wants you to not only hear him, but to feel him. You know what I'm saying? To feel him, you know? And it's just like, yeah, so I went through some shit, and that's what makes me, like, I've always been, like, really kind-hearted and righteous by nature, you know what I mean? You know a person that's righteous by nature, especially when they're a little kid, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, you're one of the good ones, you know? But yeah, so, but I went through some shit that, you know, especially me being so sensitive, started absorbing frequencies that weren't mine. And, you know, when you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, you're absorbing all these energies. You can't differentiate between your own, and then not only that, you're getting stuff happening to you. And if you like me, you had spell work, all type of shit. Motherfuckers doing weird shit to you since you were born, since the day you first landed in this motherfucker. Your first day on earth, doing all type of weird shit. And it'd be motherfuckers you would least expect too. So, yeah, but what was I about to say? Oh, so then you start to absorb all these different energies, and then before you know it, you start to morph into that, because we're like, you know, it's like the same way that infinite intelligence turns your banana or your piece of bread into a full human being. So that's taking everything because you're what you are, what you consume with all of your senses. So imagine if you're absorbing all these frequencies and you have no experience shielding yourself yet. I mean, maybe you're recalling some of your past life, you know, abilities, but you know, but you're not fully active. Like, you know, I don't feel like I'm pretty sure, because God's always gonna be, you know, right there, but He's gonna let certain shit happen to you so you can, you know, become who He told you to, you know, who He is written to be. But yeah, so after all of that, you know, all the shit all the attacks, all the misguidance, the neglect, everything, right? You start to become, you know, especially if you grew up in the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? You start to become like all of the shit that you were exposed or, you know what I'm saying, that you were absorbing. But that's not your nature. So you're always going to, if it's your nature to be righteous, you're going to break free of it. It doesn't matter what happens to you. You're going to reach where God, because God watches everything you do. Because like you're still making your, you know, He knows what you're going to do, but if he knows what you're gonna do, then it's like I don't really have to worry about this person going left or not, because I already know him, I already know her. That's not her nature, you know. That's not his nature. So it's just like he'll bring us out of it. Everything is chess pieces for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knows the next step before it's played. So you'll never not get where you're supposed to go. And you have to mess up, or you have to suffer to get certain wisdom, or to get certain experiences, or get a certain level. Because God wants to be like, okay. Well, not even that. He's like, no. Did you learn? Did you get why I put you through that? And it's just like, you know, if you can't take it, you'll become bitter. If you take it well, or you transmute it, you're the alchemist, then you'll be like, okay. But you did spin the block for me. You did double back. So it's not like I have a reason to be mad. Now, if you just left me, then it'd be like, you know, I feel some type of way. But even then, it's like, even if you was left for your whole life, it's still like, no. You know, I feel like everybody knows God, you know, is there. You know, that's just me personally. What you did, your purpose here, what you might need to pay for, what lessons you might have came here to learn, I don't know. That's between you and your God. But I do know that everybody does have a chance. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? But then again, I said there's all kinds of people. It's a big world out there. So that's a whole nother story. Let me just make this, because it's already out. I'm going to just make it another one.